Welcome to another Blind Visionary Publications product overview. In this video, we're going to talk about Tales from the Smoking Wyrm, issue number 5. Issue number 5 features a cover by Joel Phillips. This is a wonderful continuing battle between the Tentacular and our kind of series regulars with a good shot across the street from the Smoking Wyrm, which is over on this side, looking at Calabash Moog and his building. And so that's a nice action-packed cover. You can even see the Beastmaster's puppy dog down here in the corner. And smart-eyed people will find the little telepathic rat that Joel Phillips has been sneaking into covers ever since the very first issue in there as well. And so let's crack her open. We open up to our host. And this issue features a Beastmaster class, so the host is sitting with a whole bunch of beasts. And then we have our title page, which outlines, everybody involved. We've got a couple of new artists in this issue, including Jamie Jordan, who came and did a couple pieces of art for us. I think this is the second issue Sean Langley helped us with. Francesco Accordi was also in this one as well. And our first major article is the Beastmaster as a class for Dungeon Crawl Classics. And I have to say, I had a lot of fun writing this article. If you think of the Beastmaster, this is obviously based off of the famous Beastmaster movie from 1982, but also I took a lot of inspiration from Crocodile Dundee, and then so there's some cool little abilities in there that harken back to Crocodile Dundee. So you should definitely check out the Beastmaster. I think it's a fun class. As a matter of fact, my colleague John Olszewski is so taken by it that he's working out a coaching house right now run by Beastmasters and their beasts, and which will probably be coming out in an upcoming issue of the Smoking Wyrm. We talk about all the special abilities the Beastmaster gets, and there's quite a few, including the ability to basically have a Mighty Beast die, where beasts can help the Beastmaster achieve their goals, coming with a signature animal or two. So these are animals that they are just particularly bound to. Animal husbandry skills, obviously, and the ability to animal weird or use physical, vocal, and scent cues. The Beastmaster convinces unallied beasts that they're not an enemy or anything like that. It's kind of like, it's basically based on the turn on holy check, but it's specific to beasts. As a matter of fact, here is the animal weirding table that tells you whether you have no effect, you can turn as per cleric, or you gain an action die penalty, or the beast gains an action die penalty against you. And Joel did the first 2 pages of art, but this wonderful piece here is done by Jay Tanaka, and Jay always knocks them right out of the ballpark. We have our Beastmaster advancement table here, and so it's a fun class. Anybody who's interested in an alternative kind of warrior, slightly less powerful in terms of hit dice, but really flexible in terms of using beasts and stuff, and it's kind of a fun class. So check it out. In addition to that, excuse me, we cover we give some examples of the Mighty Beast Deed maneuvers, including one called Hairy Foe, just to get your juices kind of working. And then we also provide a catch pole and a bullwhip and equipment overviews and everything too, so you can use these. After that, we have an interesting article called The True Power of Organizations in Role-Playing Games. And this is kind of a background research article. Since most of the Smoking Wyrm crews came out of academia, we do a lot of thinking when we're working on things. And that's what's going on here. Talking about kind of philosophically about where organizations could fit in your game and what they come out of and everything, and how to place them powerfully in your game. And so We talk about community versus society here and different ways in which you can use organizations to advance entire games, essentially, right? And then we have this wonderful piece of art done by Jamie Jordan, and we are just so impressed with his work. This was just a beautiful piece, kind of layering in the red and everything. It's just, everything you could want in a nice montage scene. And that leads into a major organization that we're presenting here called the School of the Tree. And so right after that, we follow up with the School of the Tree article. And this is essentially a dueling organization that uses Zweihanders or long swords, two-handed swords of kind of European origin. And it's a fully developed organization that provides lots of background depth and everything. As a matter of fact, it even provides an example of what a School of the Tree building should look like, or a schoolhouse should look like and everything. It opens this wonderful tree motif that kind of weaves in all the concepts behind the School of the Tree here, done by Jay Tanaka. Just phenomenal. We talk about what's going on, the different levels of mastery and things like that, the goals of the tree, the school and everything. Here is an example School of the Tree map. It includes a training courtyard and everything and stuff. So this is, you've got a pre-built, little fortification here you can plunk down just about anywhere. The School of the Tree is written by Joyce Chung, and with a little bit of help by myself to work on the mechanics. And it really is nested deep in European martial arts philosophies, including balancing oneself and making sure that you have a balanced goal between discipline and your heart, and things like that. And so we really flesh that out and provide a mechanic in which the sword wielder is trying to balance themselves and not get too headstrong versus being too clinical and things like this. And it's an organization, so it's meant for any class. So literally any class can be trained to do this, and there are some restrictions placed on it because of that. Obviously, warriors would be well equipped to become members of the School of the Tree, but you could have your wizard running around with a Zweihander and everything with this, and using basically balanced deeds and things like that. And then we move into this nice piece of art, and actually this is a wonderful series of art, a comic book style art done by Brian Makish. And Brian did a phenomenal job at this at a moment in time when he was having a lot of obstacles get in the way of his art and everything. And what you're going to see is that we're looking at a duel here, and you can see kind of the headmaster and everything, overviewing it, and you can see your two participants here kind of gauging each other and so on and so forth. And then this continues on. You're going to see them begin to square up, and they're going to begin to fight and everything. And as we do that, we're focusing on different disciplines and everything. So Brian just really knocked it out of the park. It's one of the reasons that took issue 5 so long to get to backers initially, but it's out now, and we couldn't be happier with it. There is an imbalance table. This is built off of disapproval, and so basically the user is the wielder of the sword, the person who is a member of the School of the Tree, is again trying to balance their headstrong initiative, their heart, versus the discipline they've been taught. And when they fail to do that, they become imbalanced. And just like disapproval for clerics, basically there's an increasing severity to your imbalance. And if you're dueling with another School of the Tree member, this can become quite severe because you're pushing each other, and many of these attacks are designed to unbalance your opponent and push them past their limits, to either become too clinical or, in most cases, to become too headstrong. And so this is a really great mechanic, we thought, that really helps with that. And then we overview the dueling process. We give you kind of like wizard duels. We give you very specific rules on how the duels work and everything. And then you can duel your characters. It's kind of cool, actually. We also have 5 forms. So these are essentially, they're essentially kind of the deed trees, right? The mighty deed trees that you've seen in the main rule book of the Dungeon Crawl Classics, and we've taken them a little further here. Notice they go to 7+, so anything above a 7, you max out. But they have names. You have Lion and Eagle, and you have Raven and Kingfisher, and here you can really see this combat taking place. Thank you, Brian, for such wonderful art. And Wolf is the final one. And you can really see this go to town, and the individual defeats the other individual here, right? And so it's just really well done. If we go back and look at some of these, they have a proverb associated with them. So, all good things come to those who wait. Kingfishers are renowned for sitting absolutely still and then striking something in the water. Same thing with, ravens. Cunning surpasses strength. And so this is designed to specifically play up those proverbs. A lion sleeps in the heart of every brave individual, and eagle, the sky belongs to eagles even during storms. And so what you can do is you can adjust crit die, you can force, essentially the checks, the imbalance checks on individuals. You can lower their AC or impose AC penalties because of the way you're maneuvering and such. There's a lot of nuance in these 5 abilities, and they really play off each other very well. My playtest teams, when we did playtesting and everything, they were really, really happy with how these played off of each other and how they could stack things. And you could use Kingfisher in one round and then come back with Coyote or Wolf in the second round and really do something powerful by planning out your attack and disabling your opponent in various ways and everything, and getting them to roll a really bad imbalance roll. And so the dueling rules really favor that. I think that's something really cool that we've kind of achieved with that. And then we move into kind of the support literature. Always have a bone folder on hand. And the support literature and everything, things you might want to read to get inspiration for using the School of the Tree. And then we talk about Zweihanders, great swords, and hand and a half swords, providing their damage and stats and stuff, and also special rules for using them. And on top of that, just because we were inspired by a couple of videos showing, martial artists using Zweihanders in action, we provide this Zweihander defense, which was used by people who wielded Zweihanders in the real world to defend top targets, right? So people were trying to assassinate, or somebody who was very important would have somebody who had a Zweihander with them, and that person would be essentially a bodyguard and could take them through large masses of people successfully. And this deed tree is designed to basically replicate that type of maneuver and everything. In the end, you have 5 different kind of branches to the school. And you have Kingfisher, and you have we got? Wolf, and you've got Lion, and you've got Eagle, and you've got Crow or Raven, as it is. And so we provided you with some really cool, cute little symbols for them. Also done by Jay Tanaka, who thankfully could come in at the last minute and just help us fill out that space. Playtest credits. Always want to thank our playtesters, Larry Cosentino, Jacob Way, Ford Fitch, Michael Cosentino, and John Olszewski. Did a great job over the 3 or 4 weekends that we really put this to the test, just testing the mechanics and making tweaks to it and stuff. Thanks, guys. It's always appreciated. From there, we move on to a very different type of article. In this case, it's Ominous Idols. And so the point of this is to provide stuff for your MacGuffin to do. Here's the ubiquitous kind of Cthulhu idol down here. And this is very much inspired by the writings of H.P. Lovecraft and the Call of Cthulhu, where people are constantly sculpting, these ominous idols and everything, right? And so And this allows you to generate an idol whole cloth. It allows you to determine the type of material, the size of the idol, the purpose of the idol, or pose of the idol, the plinth material the idol sits on, and the plinth size and everything, so you can kind of get some physical dimensions and dimensionality to your idol. And then we go through and we provide, I really like how this format worked out. We give you an example of different idols, all posed and everything really nicely, and stuff. This is another Jamie Jordan piece. This is a Jay Tanaka piece, and we give you are allowed to roll up your idol's purpose, and then the idol's power levels, including minor and major powers and everything. And from there, we have a minor idol power table. Again, here's a Francesco Accordi piece. Here is an Alex Mayo piece that, amazingly, we actually, this is one of the very first pieces we ever commissioned for Tales from the Smoking Wyrm. If you look, it's actually in issue 1, but it was so awesome. It's the only piece I've ever reprinted. And then we also have kind of major powers, right? I'm sorry. This is the Francesco Accordi piece. This is the Brian Makish piece. I apologize for that. So you can have many different types of major powers and everything associated with your idols. And these are just things the idols do, inherent to themselves and everything. So this takes a MacGuffin, or allows you to create a MacGuffin and really use it. It works well with the Cthulhu Patron from issue 1, ties in with the Mythos stuff and everything. It doesn't have to be Cthulhu specific, though, for it to work. Although many of these things are kind of tied to that. Okay? And with that, we move into Culpepper's Herbal. Culpepper's Herbal is the longest lasting running serial article that we've had in the series. And in this issue, we cover Amaranthus. And I just love this piece of work. It came together so well when I was doing it. Really happy with it. And also Anemone. And so again, in Culpepper's Herbal, we'd have a description. This is more of a scientific description that Culpepper is giving you. Tells you where to find it, flowering time, some astrology, bodily virtues of the shoots, the leaves, the flowers, and the roots. So these are the things that this does. So, for instance, an anemone, if you're using the root, if exposed to the air during the presence of Legathos, which is a moon, creates a potent soporific when dried and powderized. Added to liquid and then vaporized, inflicts a negative 3D penalty on saves against effects that can cause sleep or unconsciousness. So it's a good additive to try and get people to go to sleep. And then we introduce for the first time our new ongoing series of patron missions. And this one is for Dornivis. And Dornivis first appeared in issue 3 of Tales from the Smoking Wyrm. He was one of the, a really great earth elemental, archemental patron that we created and I wrote up and everything. Jay Tanaka provides just knockout art and everything for this series as well. And these wonderful hand-designed numberings. All the patron missions will have 7 potential missions that you could send adherents of a patron on. They're meant to interrupt a game or provide a side quest when you need it. They're not meant to be the whole campaign itself, and that's why they only get sometimes a very short paragraph or two. And so, that's what they are. 7 little ideas for things you can have your patron request that the adherent does as part of that quid pro quo relationship between patron and client or adherent. The patron missions has been a really successful series of articles for us. We just released issue 7 while I'm doing the video here for issue 5, as a matter of fact. But we've written over almost a dozen of these. And one of the wonderful things is that after seeing the Dornivis version of this, Joseph Goodman of Goodman Games kindly gave his permission for us to go back and write these for for the actual patrons that are in the main Dungeon Crawl Classics book, and we've done that. And you'll see those coming out in issues that will be forthcoming over the next year or two. And we're really looking forward to getting all that out and getting it done. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Okay, with that, issue 5 is the last issue to feature in the Kickstarter campaign a special token. We were giving luck tokens or selling luck tokens usually in sets of 5. There were 4 of these. They corresponded with the first 4 campaigns. And then we wanted to finish it up and move on from the luck token series. So we created one worm token, right? A luck token that was just about the smoking worm, not about the things that were happening in the specific issue, featuring art from that issue. And so this article sums up all of the special rules that we put on the back of the luck tokens, giving some clarification of how they could be used. We got permission to reproduce this paragraph from Compendium of Secret Knowledge from Joseph Goodman, and thank you so much, Joseph, for that, and everything. And so this provides you with a comprehensive guide to the Tales from the Smoking Worm luck token series, and everything to be used with fleeting luck. Beyond that, the final thing, or almost the final thing in this issue is installment 5 of Onward Retainer, which is a wonderful kind of 3-page comic book by Joel Phillips. And this was a really great issue featuring some really nice art and everything of the Legion, which is the group that we're seeing here. Here are their retainers, bashing up some kobolds. Whether that's a good thing or a bad thing will remain undisclosed until future episodes and installments of Onward Retainer. But keep reading it and let us know if you like it. It's always good to know. So you have the Open Gaming license, and then Worm Words, which features the answers to issue 4 plus Worm Words for issue 5. And such. If you're getting the standard edition of the Tales from the Smoking Wyrm issue 5, you're going to notice that we have removed the Open Gaming license. We did that from all of our works following the changes to the Goodman Games license that took place in about February of 2023. And so when we re-signed our licensing contract, we were able to not use it. We really don't access much material. Actually no material that's in the Open Gaming license that isn't already in a Goodman product, and so we're not really necessary. It's not really necessary for us to continue with. And then, as ever, the back page has our table of contents. Here, if you have the limited edition, you will see the imprint number. This is number 349 of 350, and then also the table of contents in this wonderful Brad McDevitt sign. And that is Tales from the Smoking Wyrm, issue 5. Thanks for checking it out.